Welcome back, Sleepyheads, and thanks for tuning in to another episode of Sleepy Aliens Perspective. I'm your host, H. Lee, and we need to talk about Q from day 26 of MTV's Making the Band. So Q recently did a sort of follow-up podcast interview with Aubrey O'Day concerning a traumatic experience that he had with Diddy. And when Q was with Day 26 during an interview with Vlad earlier this year, he touched on it, but there was a lot of confusion and misinformation that got spread around based on what he said. So he sort of filled in some blanks, even though there's still some parts of the story that aren't super clear. But Q basically explains that he believed that Diddy was going to sacrifice him. And whether that be an industry full-on sacrifice, being turned out, going through a sexual initiation to go further into the industry, or just being a part of the Hollywood blackmail system in which a sexual crime is committed against you and that's filmed, or you are drugged and yes, it's still a sexual crime, but in the film it looks like you're fully participating in the sexual act, and then that is used to blackmail you for years to come. Either way, I think it's very clear we can surmise what happened to Q. And rather than me, fill in all the blanks and go into details about what he said, I'm just going to play the clip and then we'll come back to it.
At this time, I was around Dirty Money for about a year while they were creating Last Train to Paris. And I guess I was around because I was dating Dawn. I just happened to be around. So Diddy's I think he was very, very high. He's like, we're going to go to the Hamptons. He was like, we're going to go stay the night there and you guys want to come. And it felt very weird because the energy just felt so weird. You know what I mean? It was friendly high. You know what I'm saying? Like a friendly invitation to something.
He wasn't usually like that?
No, he's never invited all of us to one of his houses. So before we get to the Hamptons, they're like speeding in these black SUVs on the expressway very, very fast. Like they were in a rush to get to the Hamptons. We get to the Hamptons and we walk through the house and we arrive in the backyard near the pool. And my ex at the time, which was Dawn, she gave me an ecstasy pill. And she says...
Is that what she said it was?
Yeah, she said it was ecstasy, and she said it was from Puff to give to me. And it was red. And I took it because I thought I was going to get freaky with my girlfriend, you know? We tried ecstasy before, and I trusted her that that's what it was. So I took it immediately, and she had one too. He gave her two of them. I took mine. Within 20 minutes, I knocked out and blacked out. Yeah. I woke up in the twins' bedroom in the basement, and I woke up out of my sleep screaming very, very loud.
Who are the twins?
I don't know their names.
Are you talking about Diddy's daughters?
Diddy's twins, yeah.
Okay.
Diddy's twins. His girls. Yeah, I woke up in their bed. Cameras filming me, and they were laughing as I woke up out of my sleep, screaming. And it felt like... I'm not gonna cry.
Okay.
Yeah, take your time. It's okay. It's understandable that you're reliving this and emotion comes with it. There's just no way around it. So it
felt very sacrificial. That's what I meant when I said I felt like they were trying to hurt me or Diddy was trying to maybe sacrifice me that night. I didn't say, when I went on Vlad TV, I didn't say anything about finding a sacrificial email.
Hold on. What he's discussing in regards to Vlad TV is that's one of the interviews that the boys did. He had to leave gaps within that interview, and they decided to fill those gaps. It's kind of what I've experienced this past week. As you guys know, we started this out, and it was, we all have this intention to talk our way through to the end of this trial and hopefully see justice for whatever is proven and whatever the jury decides even you had situations that were just made up out of nowhere. So did I last week. Q was discussing one in which he couldn't say certain things because he's honoring a contract. And within that, people decided to fill in the blanks. So he discussed an email. He had tears. People put it together that he's crying over an email and what it, like, basically tried to, like, suggest that he's not a man and he's boo-hooing over an email and so on and so forth.
Boozy said something crazy. I don't mean to stop you. Boozy said...
You have to explain who everybody is.
So Little Boozy is a rapper, and respectfully, I want to say to him, like, that's not... You shouldn't have said that I wanted to get effed by Diddy or that's possibly the reason why I'm crying. You know what I mean? That's messed up. You don't know me at all, Mr. Boozy. And you didn't hear the story that I just told. And if you would have heard that, maybe you would have had a different, like, reaction. And to Chopper and to Stevie J, who also responded. Like, respectfully.
So basically, these are all people. They are all colleagues of Q's in the industry.
Yeah, I just want to say respectfully to them, just like, don't believe everything before you actually hear the truth, because people edit things. And I don't have nothing bad to say about them at all. I just want them to just understand that, you know, be respectful to everyone's trauma. You don't know when a person is still healing and going through the process of healing.
Yes.
And you can add, you don't know if I'm still thinking like I want to hurt myself or I'm scared and thinking someone's going to, all those mental thoughts. You don't know what I'm going through for you to say those mean things to just add on to my mental health.
I know there are some details about the incident you described. Maybe you don't want to get into. And
no, let's get into it.
Okay, we can. Can I go with how, I know you can be open about how it made you feel, right? So you're saying after this particular incident, you left there feeling, you called it sacrificial, but did you felt as if they
were trying to hurt me in my sleep? Because I woke up screaming. I woke up out of my sleep screaming. So what I mean by it felt like sacrificial, it felt like someone was trying to hurt me or take me out, because I possibly couldn't have woke up out of my sleep that night.
Do you know what happened to you?
I woke up screaming like a girl to the top of my lungs at a high pitch.
Well, did you have clothes on?
I think I was in my shorts because I remember jumping into a swimming pool.
But do you believe that some of what happened to you was recorded on one or many of these iPhones?
Oh, yeah. I saw phones and lights. It wasn't a video camera. It was a phone camera light.
So there are people who do know what happened to you, and there's a reason you believe why they're not telling you?
Mm-hmm.
So let's just talk about the facts here. Q was the youngest member of Day 26. And I'm just going to be honest, from my teenage perspective of watching Making the Band, to me, Q is the most attractive. And let's think about Diddy's MO when it comes to young men. There's allegations surrounding Usher, Justin Bieber, Little Jerome, YK Osiris. And I touched on that briefly in my last video, but I had left out somebody so important who I think probably deserves their own breakdown video, and that's Bashir Gray. And the allegations surrounding Bashir Gray concerning Diddy and Will Smith is just heartbreaking and tragic, because you see where he's ended up in his life right now, and it's not good. I think apparently he's doing OnlyFans, and he's doing, he's making bisexual content, essentially. So it's very heartbreaking.
So it looks like the list of young industry men that Diddy allegedly SA'd is longer than we thought, because word on the street is that Bashir Gray is one of Diddy and other industry men's victims. Child, people are saying that Will Smith was in it too. And when Bashir tried to expose them, they allegedly got him banned and blacklisted from Hollywood. So what really is the truth? Okay, so at this point, I guess it's safe to say that we are in full swing in the surviving Diddy era. And the latest person who is being alleged to have been a victim of Diddy is Bashir Gray. Bashir was one of the biggest breakout stars on the show Empire, and for a long time, fans have been wondering how Bashir went from being on a major show like Empire to disappearing from the industry like nothing happened. Well, as it turns out, Bashir's disappearance from the industry was not entirely his choice, because he was allegedly forced out by some powerful people. You see, after Empire ended, there were high hopes for his career, but unfortunately, he never lived up to the expectations. As a teenager, Brashear met Charlie Mack, who later became his manager, and things changed for him because Charlie used his connections in Hollywood to land Brashear an online audition for Empire. Things went well for him, and he landed the role of Hakeem Lyon on Empire, which was a pretty big deal because at the time, Empire was one of the biggest shows on TV. A few weeks after joining Empire, Charlie introduced Brashear to Will Smith, and they developed something of a mentor-mentee relationship. Having access to a star like Will as a newbie in Hollywood should have been a major bonus point for Brashear, but unfortunately, it turned out to be his biggest undoing. Allegedly, Will introduced Brashear to Diddy because Brashear had always wanted to be a rapper, and Will wanted to give him a leg up in the industry. Or so it seemed, because looking back now and knowing the things we know about Diddy and Will Smith, that should have been a major red flag. But at the time, nobody knew that Diddy has some major skeletons in his closet. For some context, there have been reports for more than 20 years that Diddy and Will Smith were on the DL. Multiple people in the industry have accused them of doing some unspeakable things to other men in the industry. For example, Alexis Arquette, who knew Will on a personal level, spilled the tea that Will's first marriage to Cherie Zampino ended because Cherie caught him in bed with a man. Alexis wrote, "When Jada comes out as gay and her beard husband admits his first marriage ended when she walked into him, servicing his sugar daddy, Benny Medina, then I will listen to them. She, being his first wife, paid off silent." Alexis Arquette wasn't the only one who spoke on Will, because Jaguar Wright also came out to reveal that Will had affairs with multiple younger men in the industry. She claimed that he pretends to mentor the men, but then he allegedly forces them into a relationship.
This the kind of song that makes a man love a man love a man. Y'all remember that episode of Empire? Maybe he should have sang that. Sorry. I've been sick in bed all day trying to, recuperate, rest and recuperate. I opened my Twitter. Hakeem is trending. I'm like, who the hell is Hakeem? Hakeem Lyon? Brashear Gray? That man was behind him and said, "Ooh, it's too tight." And then Hakeem said, "Pull it back out." I was clutching my Ever since his arrest, it did give Orlando. It did. But doing the bending was very shocking to me. Shout out to him for trying new things. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to yuck his yum. But somebody said Diddy has something to do with it. And honest to God, I know the Diddy did it is the new, it's Queen Naja's fault. But I'm not going to lie, I wouldn't even doubt it. I would not doubt that one bit, because how in the hell did we end up here?
But considering Diddy's MO of wanting to turn out young men, wanting to have power over young men, and I think there's this race in the industry when it comes to new women and men and individuals who enter the entertainment industry. For these predators, it's almost like who is going to turn them out first. And because of that system, it's almost like it's almost sociopathic, because they like to get video of it. And that is very Epstein. That is just a part of the Hollywood entertainment, even political blackmail system. You get that stuff on video so you have power over that person. But I think too, it's, I think it's a part of I think it's sexually gratifying. I think it's like a trophy for these industry predators, political predators, whoever it may be. And, aside from Jeffrey Epstein, we can also think about, I'm sure R. Kelly had videos of his victims. Hugh Hefner in the Playboy house. We know that man had plenty of videos. I mean, the fact that he had a tunnel system for people to enter his house without paparazzi noticing, powerful people, even the likes of Bill Cosby, going into that house, having fun with these Playboy bunnies, and then leaving and coming and going as they want to. Just always a nonstop party. And powerful men were invited because Hugh Hefner wanted that blackmail. He wanted that power over them. And so I think Diddy had that same mentality. And when you think about his MO and Q being the youngest, it really does fit So let's think about the fact that with all of the groups that have been on Making the Band, whether it be Day 26, Danity Kane, or the original Making the Band group, we see them going into these shows so excited, so positive, so energized, and within a certain amount of time, because let's be real, when they're on these shows, there's so much manipulation, and despite what we're perceiving as entertainment, in another sense, that can be interpreted as emotional ABUSE. That is pure ABUSE, emotional manipulation. We see Diddy essentially breaking down their spirit. We see him expanding his sense of control over their lives. And within a matter of time, we see these individuals, that positive energy that they had, it slowly turns to something dark. And with all of these groups, none of them have had consistent success within the industry. Even despite the fact when a couple of the groups broke up, we have never seen these people's lives turn into something great.
This episode right here is the second that I knew that Diddy took advantage of Q from Day 26 on Making the Band. In this episode, Q was very emotional because he was butting heads with other members from Day 26 and they were explaining that they really knew something was wrong with him. Q's mother was even there and even said that something else is really going on and happening with Q for him to overreact the way he was acting. And all of them were acting like they really knew that something bad was going on with Q. Some of them were even in tears during this episode. And now that Day 26 admitted about an email that they saw from Diddy that was sacrificial and it was really something that messed them up mentally, I think that they knew about this during whatever was happening with Q. But at this point, I don't think that they actually knew what Q himself was going through with Diddy. And this is exactly why I don't think that there are reruns of Making the Band. It was literally in our face the whole time.
I gotta pack my shit and leave. No, you not. You ain't going nowhere. Leave. You are dedicated to Day 600. You, my kids depend on you. And I know that.
He's so
Right up top,
hurt.
I know that. I don't care if depend on you, man. Son. Are you finna throw the away? Listen, son, can I please talk to my second? Listen, real. I'm not going anywhere. I know they listen, son. Day 26 is my first priority. Just because I want to get better at dancing, just because I'm using my time wisely, and you sit here and sleep, does not mean you guys can manipulate me like that and do that phony ass. That hurt. How could you look at me and say that? How could you look at me and say that? No. How could you look at me and say that? You always ask you every day what's wrong.
You has to calm down. What is going on?
I don't know what's wrong with
It's something deep.
It is. Trust me, it's deep. It's deep. It's real deep.
I understand that you're trying to better yourself, and I am very happy about that. But I feel like there's a distance. That's all it is.
It's no distance.
We gotta get the circus out of here for real. I can't do the circus thing, though. I can't do the circus. It's too much. Like it just feels. I can't do it, but we really need to get to the bottom of it because it's not good.
I wasn't trying to fight this dude. I'm just trying to tell him what I see from the outside looking in and what I'm hearing and how I want to help him.
I'm trying to tell you how it's keeping certain things, how certain things little things can become this. Mm-hmm. Just try to be 100% the man in this situation.
I'm trying, man, but
I know it's hard. I'm asking.
We are good.
I'm not asking.
All of us are good now.
I know.
We are Day 26. We are brothers, and that's
you guys
that.
understand this. Understand this, though.
Okay, so what is it that you need to know?
What can I do to fix the problem? And what is the problem? We a group and we got a month to record an album. Well, we start off with a month to record an album, you know what I mean? And it affects me only when like producers start looking for me. Then like, damn, where he at? You know what I'm saying? And then that somebody he tried to pick who else's voice would sound right on that part when we had somebody in the group that's perfect for the part in the first place. So that's just the biggest thing to me.
So what you're asking Q is just a little more of his time around when it's studio time.
Studio time, right.
Studio time. Can you just be a little more around studio time?
Right.
And it's not just for you, but everybody.
Right.
Everybody needs to come together and be a part of studio time.
I never even really made a big deal about that. I just want to know what's up with Q. That's the only thing I care about. I ain't saying nothing about no studio time. I ain't saying nothing about nothing. Because I love you genuinely, like my little brother that I have at home. My thing I'm saying to you, Q, is if that's what the problem was, then it's fixed. Because you don't give up about nothing but your music, really. I don't think it's no problem after that. So at the end of the day, we should be able to be like, the problem is done. Let's shake hands.
It's deeper than just studio time, man. It's deeper than that, dog. Like, I mean, whether any of us, like, are trying to say it or whatever, it's deeper than just studio time, dude.
It's not deeper than that.
I mean, because if that's the case, you know what I'm saying? It shouldn't have blown up like it did. And some of the things that were said shouldn't have been said. So it is. You can't sit up here and say it's not deeper than studio time, dog, because it is.
I can sit here and say that a little problem escalates to a big problem.
This whole thing just took a wrong turn for the worse, because we spend more time with each other than we spend with our own families. So nobody really knows what's going on anymore with each other or with you. And we asking, what is it? Because I care about you. I want you to I really want to get to the bottom, because in my mind, I see bad things happening. And I don't want that to happen to you. Because you have a lot to give this world. And I don't ever talk. I don't got time for this. But what I'm telling you is real. We don't want you to feel like it's 4 against 1. You know what I'm saying? Or it's us against y'all. I don't want you to feel like that. Because I've had it feel like that before. And that's lonely. You don't get too much lonelier than that. I just want you to know that whatever it is, you tell us. I mean, if it's nothing, then it's nothing. Maybe we just need to provide more love for each other. But I'm here for you, and the whole group is here for you, and we just want to know what's the problem. If you have a problem, if you don't have a problem, then cool. It's over, and let's move on with our life, and let's go forward, and let's go to the top, like we've been planning on doing since day one, since he announced us as being in this group together. Y'all my brothers.
I think that is so telling of Diddy's ultimate intentions and his true purpose behind this. And ultimately, it reveals how these predators operate initially to gain that psychological and spiritual control that they like to have over artists and different groups within the entertainment industry. And I also want to bring up the lawsuit from October of last year. It was a John Doe. He was invited to a Diddy party by a fashion designer. And this fashion designer tells him, oh my God, Diddy is really impressed with your regimen. You know, he would love it if you come to his party. So again, this guy is like, oh my God, this mogul, so much opportunity. I can become Diddy's personal trainer. Who knows whom other celebrities I'll meet at this party. Let me go do this and see how it goes. So John Doe goes to this party. He immediately notices different celebrities, well-known, engaging in group sex. God, I don't even know if I can say sex on YouTube. Oh my God, I can't stand it. Okay, so these people are engaging in group sex. He says that Diddy gave him a drink, and at the time he didn't think anything of it, but shortly after drinking the beverage, he realizes that he's been drugged. And he is completely conscious, but he has very limited control over his body, and he seems to have no willpower. So first she says that once the drug kicks in, he alleges that Diddy pulls his pants down and performs oral sex on him. And immediately after that, Diddy orders John Doe to perform oral sex on other celebrities at this party. And from that point on, he is passed around sexually between these different celebrities. what's interesting there is the fact that through all of, I was thinking about this. So after everything that Cassie has testified, we know that Diddy watched her do sexual acts with these male prostitutes. But what is not clear is Diddy's engagement sexually. And I just think that's very interesting that that is somehow being left out, because we know that Diddy likes the Mandingo. We know that Diddy is into that. So to have this John Doe so blatantly, make a claim that, Diddy pulled my pants down, he performed oral sex on me, and then he immediately turns him out and tricks him out to other celebrities at this party. So I was just thinking about that. And I'm bringing this up because I also think it really validates Q's claims. And of course I believe Q, because I couldn't find... So there is another victim. It's a female victim. So she also alleged last year in her lawsuit that she was drugged and essayed by Diddy. And she was shown a video of her essay at some point later. And again, we think about the whole blackmail system. Oh, look what I caught you doing on camera. And, we've heard stories about people, taking that first big step into the industry, and you're invited to a party and, you have a few drinks. Next thing you know, you wake up in a bedroom and you don't remember anything. And I think the producer, Little Rodney, had a story very similar to like waking up and not knowing what happened to him, but he was in a bed in Diddy's house. Is his name Little Rodney? I hope so. I hope I'm not getting that wrong. But here we have a clear pattern where all of these Diddy accusers are alleging that he heavily relies on drugging them. He heavily relies on this system of sort of he relies on the public essay where you don't know who else saw you, who else was in the room, and then he has a video to go with it to always control you, to always remind you of that trauma, the power of the predator in that hand, essentially. So this similarity of the victims who have allegations against Diddy, including Q, it just makes me think about what Zara Marley talked about. So in my last episode, I talked about Zara Marley and how she explained that scopolamine is the drug of choice amongst elite individuals and the entertainment industry when it comes to SA and SRA and just the general control that they like to have over their victims. And as I explained previously, scopolamine, it does have a pharmaceutical use, but in its pure raw plant form, it is known as the devil's breath. And that's because this drug can be blown in your face. It can be applied to creams. It could be applied to surfaces. It can be added to weed or, tobacco. It could also be added to a drink. Like, it has so many forms in which a person can drug you. And once this drug is in your system, you will be fully conscious. You will be able to move, and you will basically have zero inhibitions, zero willpower. You will be like a puppet. You will do whatever you're told. And the worst thing is the next day, you won't remember any of it. And scopolamine runs through the system, your body, within 12 hours. So even if you had some sort of fraction of like, okay, I think this happened to me, you couldn't go to a hospital in time to get a drug analysis. They wouldn't be able to detect that in your system, which is why these elite people love the drug so much. And again, I'll remind people of Blink Twice. And Blink Twice, these victims in the movie discover that they are being drugged through a perfume that they were given by this very wealthy, fun, carefree person that invites them on his private island. And every time they spray that perfume, you know, it just puts them right back into that state of puppeteer, loss of inhibitions. You're still able to move and, you know, you can speak, but the fact, I mean, that's why they call it the devil's breath. The fact that you will still be fully functional, but you don't have the willpower to say no. And it's just a very scary drug. But I thought about this again when I was, when Q was mentioning what happened to him. Even though he says what he took was in a pill form, I'm 100% sure that, you know, scopolamine can be rendered into a pill form. And maybe it wasn't scopolamine. I think if it were like LSD or something, you know, his memory would be a lot less hazy. I don't know. It's just a thought, but I do think in these cases with Diddy's victims that it could definitely be scopolamine that is being used. I'm going to assume that Q is in the process of, you know, pursuing his own litigation against Diddy, and rightfully so. And I wonder if the FBI has these tapes. And just like the Jeffrey Epstein tapes, we may never know who all was in these videos, what other celebrities are involved. We may not find that out. These people, just like in the Jeffrey Epstein case, may be protected. And that is more sickening than the crime itself, truly. But Sleepyheads, that's all I have for this one. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, and comment. Have a good night, and I'll talk to you soon.